Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the MDC-Alliance press conference on our solidarity to the people of Eswatini. Thank you for honoring our invitation. We are the MDC-Alliance, which strongly believes in social democracy with principles, tenets, and values that includes solidarity, freedom, and equality. We are citizens of the world, the global citizens. As such, we stand firmly in solidarity with the people of Eswatini who are being killed. Their rights are being abused by the authorities, just for demanding the end to authoritarianism, the end to autocracy, the end to dictatorship. To unpack our message to the world, allow me, ladies and gentlemen, to welcome Madame Gladys Lashwayo, who is the Secretary for International Relations for the MDC-Alliance, to address you. Over to you, Madam.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for agreeing to have a conversation with us today. Like what has been indicated, my name is Lashwayo Gladys, and I'm the Secretary for International Relations for the Movement for Democratic Change Alliance. So what I'm going to do, I will deliver the statement and perhaps take questions after I've read out our statement. So this is the MDC statement on Eswatini or Swaziland. The Movement for Democratic Change Alliance expresses its unwavering Pan-African solidarity with the people of Eswatini, also known as Swaziland, in their legitimate demand for an end to autocratic monarchical rule and for a democratic governance anchored on the will of the people as expressed in free and regular elections. We are concerned by the escalating crisis in Swaziland. We unreservedly condemn the heavy-handedness of the Royal Eswatini Police Service and the Eswatini Defense Force, who are indiscriminately firing live ammunition on defenseless civilians in the wake of demonstrations against Africa's last absolute monarchy. The use of such disproportionate force has resulted in at least 50 deaths, an estimated 1,000 civilians have been wounded or shot, and more than 500 people, mostly young people, randomly arrested, arbitrarily detained, and denied bail. Citizens' freedoms of association, expression, and assembly have been seriously undermined, including through the shutting down of internet and the handing down of activists. The current protest followed a grossly undemocratic decree that banned protests and the delivery of petitions to government officials as well as members of parliament, effectively closing democratic channels for people to freely express themselves and air their grievances. The genesis of the crisis in Eswatini or Swaziland can be tracked back to the Proclamation number 7 of 12 April 1973 by King Sobhuza II that abolished multi-party democracy in favor of an absolute monarchy that has since ruled the country with an iron fist. The 2005 Constitution did not guarantee freedom of association, and political parties remained banned. Repressive legislation such as the 2008 Suppression of Terrorism Act and the 1938 Sedition and Subversive Activities Act has severely restricted democratic and civic space and have been deployed to target human rights defenders such as trade unions, students, churches, journalists, civil society groups, and political activists. The political situation in Eswatini is exacerbated by the huge inequalities where King Mswati III is believed to have a net worth in the region of USD 500 million, and only those close to the royal family have comfortable lives, whilst more than 60% of citizens are living on less than USD $1.09 a day. Swaziland is ranked 138th of 189 countries in the latest 2020 Human Development Index and has the 10th highest income inequality in the world. So just to highlight the economic situation that is in that particular country, the socio-economic situation. The autocratic rule in Swaziland violates regional, continental, and international principles of human rights, democracy, and the rule of law, as coded in the various statutes, including the SADC Treaty, the African Charter, and the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, to which Swaziland is a state party. We appeal to the Eswatini government to uphold its domestic and international obligations on the respect of human rights, democracy, and the rule of law. Human rights abuses against defenseless citizens must stop. The military must return to the barracks, and an independent investigation into the atrocities must be done to ensure accountability. An absolute monarchy has no place in the 21st century, and the political system in Swaziland must evolve and be aligned to the wishes and aspirations of Eswatini. We salute the governing African National Congress and the economic freedom fighters in South Africa for standing with the people of Swaziland. We urge all fellow Africans and the international community to support Eswatini democratic movement in their just cause for a democratic country. In line with our global agenda to provide solidarity to other struggles for democracy, we reiterate demands of the pro-democracy movement in Eswatini, in particular the following. Number one, an inclusive political dialogue. Number two, unbanning of political parties. Number three, a transitional authority. Number four, a new democratic constitution. Number five, a multi-party dispensation anchored on free, fair, and credible elections. Fundamental political and economic reforms are central to ending autocracy, reducing extreme poverty, and improve the lives of ordinary citizens in Swaziland. We submit that an inclusive dialogue underwritten by SADC and the African Union remains the only plausible, peaceful path to resolving the current crisis. Whilst we were concerned by the failure of SADC to consult a broad church of stakeholders during the recent fact-finding mission in Eswatini, we welcome the subsequent statement by the chairperson of SADC organ on politics, defense, and security, His Excellency President Masisi, to the effect that SADC will undertake a second mission to engage the pro-democracy movement. We appeal to SADC to treat the Eswatini crisis with the urgency it deserves by immediately commissioning the second mission to avert further catastrophe and unnecessary loss of property and life. We firmly believe that autocratic governance has no place in our beloved continent, in line with our own Agenda 2021 and the African Union Agenda 2063. Eswatini must be free from autocracy, Zimbabwe must be free from fascism, Africa shall be free from dictatorship. One Africa, one people, injure one, injure all. Injustice anyway is a threat to justice everywhere. Democracy in our lifetime. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Madam Gladys Hlachwayo, for the presentation of the statement. To the members of the media, any questions? Your name and media house?
Sure. My name is Blessed Mhlanga. I'm from Heart and Soul TV and Radio. My question is, some people have accused you as the MDC-Alliance of failing to take action you just address press conferences. Unlike the people of Eswatini, we have taken the destiny in their own hands. What is your view to that? And also, you reference SADC, saying that there should be a broad-based political dialogue underwritten by SADC. Do you have faith in SADC, given that in the past you have complained that it has failed, especially in Zimbabwe, and it has ignored what you have termed a crisis in Zimbabwe by actually Dr. Texas declaring that there is no crisis in Zimbabwe, and has failed to look at your issues and your complaints over the past few years, or actually over past lot of years that the MDC-Alliance has complained to SADC?
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Blessed, for that question. For those questions, I think there were two questions. I will start with the SADC one. You were asking, do we have faith in SADC? SADC is an institution that is supposed to serve the interest of the SADC citizens. And we are SADC citizens. Where we have issues in terms of how it is responding to the issues on the ground, I think as citizens we do have rights to be engaging with that particular organ, because it is supposed to be an organ for the people. So as the Movement for Democratic Change Alliance, we have always maintained an open communication with the Southern African Development Community to make sure that they do understand our circumstances, but also the circumstances of fellow citizens that fellow SADC citizens that find themselves in similar circumstances of autocracy, like the kind of dictatorship and fascism that we find in Zimbabwe. So we will not tire as the Movement for Democratic Change Alliance. We will continue to engage. I'm sure you might have followed at some point, we actually had a mission to go and sit down with the Executive Secretary, and we were quite grateful that we were given that opportunity to sit down with her and exchange on the Zimbabwean question, and we'll continue to do so. We'll also continue to speak to individual SADC countries, South Africa, Zambia, Mozambique, to speak to them and to make sure that they do understand the Zimbabwean situation and the need for a dialogue process that is facilitated and underwritten by the region. So I think that's how I will answer your first question, Blessed. Your second question on what we are doing as the Movement for Democratic Change, given what is happening in Eswatini. I think at the beginning of this year, our political party, through the Office of the President, delivered our Agenda 2021, which speaks to the 5 critical issues that we are focusing on, with the big idea being on convergence. We are focusing, very strongly on the convergence aspect and make sure that, we converge with the pro-democracy movement, the entirety of the pro-democracy movement in Zimbabwe, to deal with the question, in the country, and to be able to respond, to the situation that we find ourselves in. We are glad that the momentum is really building around this convergence, and we are at a very advanced stage in making sure that we'll be, rolling out programs very soon. Thank you.
Any other question? Is it a follow-up?
Sure.
Or a different one?
Both.
Both.
Yeah.
Thank you. Just.
Yeah. My question was direct. Maybe. Do you have faith in SADC? Do you have faith in SADC? And also, are there any lessons that the MDC-Alliance has drawn from Eswatini?
Well, I think I have answered, Blessed. It looks like you're looking for a particular answer, but like what I've said, SADC is an institution of the people of SADC, and as SADC citizens, we'll take SADC to task where we feel there are shortfalls. Like I indicated in our statement, with reference to the Eswatini case, we had misgivings in the way that the SADC mission that was sent to Eswatini failed to reach out to a broad church of citizens, especially the pro-democracy movement. I'm sure you've been following how the government of Eswatini was sort of cherry-picking in terms of who meets the mission, and how the Eswatini pro-democracy force actually reached out to SADC to say we were not able to meet with you and we still want to meet with you. And following that particular engagement, we then also saw a statement from the chairperson of SADC organ on politics and defense and security, His Excellency President Masisi, who then said we are going to be sending a second mission to engage, the pro-democracy movement. So, I mean, it's also up to us as SADC citizens, to be able to demand what is rightfully ours. I think, that's one of the lessons, definitely, that we also learn from Eswathini, that as a people, and this is not just for the MDC-Alliance, it's for everyone, because everyone in Zimbabwe, be it, churches, be it students, everyone wants a democratic country. A democratic country is good for everyone, including you journalists. You want media freedoms and things like that. So it's important for us, which is why in our Agenda 2021, we're talking about convergence and the need for the people of Zimbabwe to come together and to, confront the regime from a united position.
Oh, thank you. We've come to the end of our press conference. Thank you for observing social distancing. Thank you for coming. God bless you. God bless Zimbabwe. God bless Africa.